Felix, so great having you on the podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me, Jared.
I think you win coolest background on one of these episodes right now. This is pretty sweet setup you have there.
Awesome. I'll take that all day. You know, business is war, and this reminds me of what it is that we're going after and what we're in right now.
I love it. You and I first met at Money 2020 a few months back. Good event. Met a lot of great people. And then we talked about, okay, let's do a podcast. So for those that aren't familiar with you, would love a quick just breakdown of your background personally, and then give us an overview of Finally today.
Yeah, perfect. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I started very young, probably 13, my first business. Since then, I started 10 tech companies, built and sold 3 of them, and now working at Finally, where in essence, just solving my own problem. Every time I had to, just start a company from the beginning, you have to worry about all these different vendors, all this different software just to run your business. And Finally helps you do all that in one place so that you don't need a different payroll provider, a separate corporate card. You don't need, a different bookkeeping platform, and it all connects together. So that's what we're building. And that's literally the problem that we're solving, which is getting our clients access to an all-in-one platform so they can do everything in one place.
Which doesn't exist. I mean, it didn't exist, right? There was all these different tools that companies needed in order to run their business, and that can get annoying when running a business is hard enough. Having to use all these different tools at the same time adds to the complexity. So, what was that? I mean, it sounds like there was probably several moments, but what was the aha moment that said, "Okay, I need to build Finally. I need to be running this company." Like, what was that moment?
I mean, if you look at where we come from, right? I'm going to say at least the way it works here in the U.S. is there's a lot of point solutions, but then there's a lot of work that is being done behind the scenes to get them all connected. So for me, I'm a network. I'm an engineer at heart. Started my career as a network engineer, and I was like, this should all just be connected. Why are we worrying about it after the fact? And then for a customer, all the UIs are different. If you're like, let's say, a dentist, you don't need to spend I'm going to say half your day on different user interfaces. If you could just do that in one place, it'll save you a lot of time. So that's really the precipice of why we decided to go after this.
Now, when you sign up a new organization that wants to work with you, kind of what does that process look like? How do they end up getting onboarded?
Yeah, the cool thing about Finally is they could start in our platform with just about any of the products. It could be bookkeeping, it could be corporate cards, it could be payroll. It could be, just any one of those tools, and then they're all interconnected. So once you're in the ecosystem, you could just add on any one of these modules. From time to time, we do a bundle, and that's another way that customers usually can get on board. And we have a sales team. They can talk to someone in sales to get onboarded. It's a pretty smooth process. It's just a few minutes to get started.
Do you see, like, from your users today, do you see them gravitating towards particular, I guess, features or parts of the platform more than even others, like at least for the starting point?
Actually, no. The way we set this up is we can land with any one of the products. So that's what's really exciting. They're all pain points. And getting a customer on the platform, there's a lot of synergy between all the products. But one doesn't need to lead.
I like it. Talk me through, I mean, it can't be a podcast nowadays unless you mention AI at least once, right? So talk me through, your thoughts on where AI is at today and maybe how you're leveraging it or how you will leverage it as time progresses.
Yeah, for us, it's interesting. When we first started our company about 6 years ago, we started with a focus on automating bookkeeping, and we built an AI called Prometheus. And Prometheus never goes on vacation, never goes to sleep, never stops working. And the premise of it is that it'll just keep doing your books in real time. So we've been investing in AI now for about, I'm going to say, since inception. And we've created our own language model that allows you not to have a full-time bookkeeper or accountant. Our AI can do it for you. And it's great because humans don't really like this type of work. It's very repetitive. It's all the same. And even accountants hate it. So anyone could use it. Small business owner, accountant, CFO, finance team. Instead of doing all this busy monkey work, you just have our AI do it.
I love it. And when we were kind of going through the prep for this episode, I really wanted to ask you this. You've worked with so many companies on a monthly basis, yearly basis, like just so many. What have you learned about this, like these small businesses, like their pain points that, like, from a financial standpoint?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of disconnected systems. So it takes a long time for them to have like a dashboard of where they stand, how they do, measurement against their peers. So it finally solves this problem because it's a connected system. So we give them books faster. They're able to close their books faster. They're able to reduce a lot of this manual, tedious work. They're able to prevent spend that doesn't need to happen from happening, and it gives them control, right? Visibility, so they can know where they're going. And I think that's the most vital thing is knowing where you stand and knowing how to navigate, so that you understand what levers to push.
Is there anything you wish you knew from the start that you now know now? Like, what would you tell your younger self starting this like business up? Like, what would something that would have been super useful on day one, but you now know it?
Yeah, I mean, I wish we would have been building all the modules at once. It looks like building all these different modules is key. But starting off, you gotta you have a vision and you gotta go to market. You gotta get customers. You gotta get those initial believers, and then you gotta see if they keep on paying you. And I gotta tell you that customers have been wanting this for a long time. It's more apparent now. It wasn't then, but I wish we would have over invested there so that we could be further ahead now.
Those are always interesting conversations to have with investors too, right? Because they want do this, then do this, then do this. But there is a lot of value in like what you were saying, building everything at once. When you look at the conversations that you have with your investors, you've obviously raised several rounds of funding. You raised a little bit over 200 million in your latest round, right? Late last year, I believe it was. Let's go from that round. What did you hope to accomplish, or where did you hope to invest after raising that latest round?
Exponential growth. So growing our customer base, growing our revenues, building exciting product, building features that our customers want, ultimately driving net revenue retention by releasing more products and making our products sticky, building a brand, and building an amazing team, right? Assembling an amazing team. At the end of the day, that's really what it is you got to go out and get the best team to go tackle the opportunity.
You've obviously, you're a serial entrepreneur. You've done this several times. I kind of want to shift focus a little bit to maybe some advice from you to, we have some people in the audience that are just starting up. What really shaped, well, I guess, number one, what shaped you to the person that you are today? Like, what do you attribute that to? And what advice would you give that early stage, like fintech founder that wants to start building?
Yeah, for me, I think definitely my upbringing. My parents had a lot to do with it. I come from a family of founders. That's our version of the American dream, is starting a business and being able to have an impact in the community and see it grow. I think that's very powerful. And then having a strong core like background, for me, it was engineering. So I think everyone should at least do some engineering courses or classes or whatnot to build that basis. It helps you bridge the gap between a business, a business person and then a builder. If you can have that, I'm going to call it sort of like a translator, right? Bridging that gap, that's really important because you want to be a business person and you want to have ideas there, but you also want to be able to communicate with engineers and have a sense of sort of like what's possible, even though you're supposed to dream and think about the impossible, and make it happen. It's good to be able to have that kind of sense. So that's a great core skill for me. And then I would say for folks like starting off, like, yeah, like you got to get started, especially if you're young, you get started, you can get a lot of bites at the apple. We live in the greatest country on the face of the planet. We're set up to output amazing companies, and we have a lot of great talent, a lot of great people that want to be a part of that. There's a lot of experience here. There's a reason, in the U.S. we're building all the amazing companies. You can pull from that talent, that know-how, the partnerships, the technology, the background, the investor base. You couldn't be in a better place to try to do this. So get started, go at it, get a co-founder, get, whoever it is to help you, because it's very lonely. And yeah, I would say have an uncanny ability to not give up and just keep trying, don't give up, keep getting better too, be a student. I'd rather be a student than a master. So you never want to be the know-it-all. If you're open like a sponge, you'll keep growing, right? So I think that's important.
For you personally, how did you always learn? Were you more of a visual learner, or was it more hands-on? Like how did you pick up things growing up and now?
I consider myself like a scientist. I love like just learning and testing and reading and hearing from others that have come before. Studying all that stuff is really important, and going deep, right? Going deep and wanting to, be thirsty, be hungry, be curious. I think those things are really important. So I can't even tell you how many books I've read, but if you like a topic, you should go deep in that topic, and especially if it's important to what you're building. So I think all those things matter.
Going back to finally, Felix, what's next, like on the roadmap? What are you really excited about? I know you have some new stuff you're going to be announcing more soon, but is there any sneak peek that you can tell us about?
Yeah, we're excited to be launching our employer of record solution, which will allow companies to hire anywhere in the world compliantly and be able to tap into talent, everywhere in the world, which is amazing because as you're building, you need capital and you need talent. And then depending on your capital, you also have to make sure that that can stretch. So our solution is going to enable you to tap into talent pools that may be more economical than just thinking that you need to get engineers or talent in a certain place. You actually got to think more broadly.
As 1099 or full time?
You'll be able to hire contractors. You'll be able to hire full-time employees. And the beauty of it is you don't have to worry about setting up entities or having to worry about compliance in a country that you're not set up. You let us worry about all that and you'd get the talent and you'd be able to put them through our platform and go ahead and just get building.
I love it. Is there any particular countries that you foresee people, just based on maybe some research, that you think people will end up hiring from the most through this?
Yeah, South America is really hot. I think it's a great place. In general, all of the Americas are great. Canada is also pretty solid. But I would say South America is number one.
I'm sure a big part of it is because, for the most part, time zone, right, is well aligned. Interesting. So can you give me an example? Like, so let's say I'm on the platform and I want to hire someone in that country. So I find this person, what's it called? I just end up paying finally.
Yeah, so the way it works is, let's just say you need a front-end developer. You'll be able to go on our platform. Once you have that person, you'll be able to make them an offer and hire them full-time and make sure that they got all the benefit, the insurance, all the things they need to feel like they're part of your company, and that you're able to pay their payroll, take out the taxes, do everything compliantly and be able to scale in that place without getting into any trouble. Because that's the thing, you want to make sure that when you go into a country, you're not violating any local laws and you're also staying abreast of all the changing requirements. So we let you focus on going and building your product, while as far as the HR personnel type of stuff, we'll deal with that. We have the teams, the personnel, the accounting expertise, the legal expertise, the tax expertise to be able to have that local employee. And you could just rate the benefits of, I'm going to say access to talent.
I love it. That's so exciting. You and your team must be thrilled to be able to roll that out. And you said, when is the estimated, at least in beta, when will that be rolled out? Rough estimate?
So it's been in beta. Yeah, it's been in beta for about 6 months now. Yeah. So we're launching it to, I'm going to say the entire ecosystem at the end of January.
Okay. Congratulations. That's super exciting. I wanted to ask you too, before we kind of wrap up here, your thoughts on, I'm always grateful when I get to go to these events and I meet people like yourself. So I do want to say, like, what were your thoughts on Money 2020 this year? I like to always give these events kind of a shout out when I can.
Yeah, I mean, getting a chance to get together with folks that you've been building relationships with, over Zoom, or seeing old colleagues again and getting in a central place, like that's home base. That's the best part. That's really the biggest benefit. And then this year for me was, last year was special. I got a chance to be a speaker in one of the panels. That was fun. I love to give back and to contribute. And at the same time, I also love to get to know interesting people. So yeah, it just feels like every time we go back there in October, it's literally, home base, and can't wait for the next one. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but let's hope it doesn't come up too quick, because that means we blew through another year, right? But it should be a great event. I'm excited for this upcoming event as well, and really excited to just keep following along with you and seeing where things go. But congratulations on everything so far, and really look forward to continuing the conversation. Please keep us up to date.
No, absolutely. Really appreciate you having me, and would love to keep following your podcast as well.